Okay, let's continue with this pie chart. You learn this pie chart in P6. Now, a small portion, about 20% is oxygen, about 79% about there is nitrogen, and of course 1% is your carbon dioxide, water vapor, and other gases. That makes up 100%. Now let's talk about oxygen. Most living things need oxygen to stay alive. This part you actually learn this in P3 and P4. We say that we need oxygen to stay alive. Living things take in oxygen in order to break down digested food to produce energy in a process called respiration. Now what does it mean? Respiration is basically taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide. Okay, so this is called respiration. So they say taking oxygen in order to break down digested food to produce energy. It is called respiration. So basically, it means you take in oxygen, you will have to use it to break down your food, okay, to produce energy. So that is called respiration. Basically, just remember, respiration is the taking in of oxygen and giving out of carbon dioxide. Now, take note, all living things, I say all living things, need to take in oxygen. So meaning, all living things need to go through respiration, okay? So animals and plants that live in water use oxygen that is dissolved in water. Now, remember, those that live in water, they use dissolved oxygen. Now, dissolved oxygen means to take in oxygen that is found in water, okay? Animals living in the ground and roots of plants use oxygen that is found in the soil. Now, there are many organisms that is living inside the soil. For example, earthworms. Earthworms take in oxygen that is found inside the soil. That's why earthworms continually loosen the soil so that they can bring oxygen from the surrounding into the soil. Okay? Let's continue. Let's talk about oxygen. Oxygen is also needed for burning. Now, barbecue. Even like mommy need to cook for your lunch or dinner. They need to turn on the flames, right? When they turn on the flames take in oxygen. When we light a candle, burn a piece of paper or set fire to wood, oxygen is being used up, okay? A continuous supply of fresh air rich in oxygen is needed to keep things burning. Just remember, you want to burn something, you need to continue to give it oxygen. The moment they do not receive enough oxygen, they stop burning. That was how the fireman puts out fire. They stop oxygen being supplied to the fire. Then the fire will be put out by the fireman. Okay? Now let's talk about nitrogen. Nitrogen is not needed by us. Humans don't need nitrogen at all. Means if I were to take in nitrogen, about 79% of nitrogen is taken in. About 79% of nitrogen is all given out. We do not use a single percentage at all, okay? So although nitrogen makes up 4/5 of the air, this gas is not used by most living things. Now, although it's not used by most living things, it is used by the plants, the roots of the plant, okay? Only some bacteria living in the soil are able to use nitrogen from the air around them. So this bacteria will try to convert this nitrogen into something that the plant can take in. And this will become nutrients for the plant. So the roots will absorb these nutrients and then it becomes something, to make the plant healthier. Okay? Plants must have nitrogen to live, but they are not able to use nitrogen from the air. Bacteria that live in the roots of the plant change the nitrogen from the air that is in the soil into a form that plants can use. Something that I mentioned earlier, right? Now let's talk about the rest of the gases. Carbon dioxide, water vapor, and other gases. When living things respire or when things burn, oxygen is used up and carbon dioxide is produced. This is what I call respiration. Now, when you take in oxygen, give out carbon dioxide, that is respiration, okay? Carbon dioxide is important to plants. Now, besides you taking in oxygen, I just now mentioned about things burning also take in oxygen. You give out carbon dioxide when you breathe out. When things burn, they also produce carbon dioxide. Both our carbon dioxide, whether is it from us or from burning things, this carbon dioxide will be used by the plants. Why do they need it? They need it for something called photosynthesis. And this photosynthesis topic will be learned at the end of the year for P5 pupils because you're moving on to P6. During the day, plants use carbon dioxide and water to make food in a process called photosynthesis. So photosynthesis basically means taking in carbon dioxide, taking in water, and then must be during the day. Day means when there is light. They will undergo photosynthesis. Oxygen is produced at the same time. Respiratory system. Breathing is the process of taking in air into our body and giving it out again. We breathe so that we can take in oxygen for respiration. At the same time, carbon dioxide is formed. Carbon dioxide is removed from our bodies and released into the air when we breathe out. Previously, when we learned about circulatory system, we mentioned that the carbon dioxide-rich blood is carried to the lungs. And then the lungs will be the one that is removing the carbon dioxide. This is what exactly it means. Carbon dioxide is removed from the bodies. From the bodies means from the lungs. And then we exhale out. Whew. Right? So carbon dioxide just came out from me, right? Okay? The parts of a living thing that help it to breathe form the respiratory system. So remember, what are the parts that form our respiratory system? Try to recall your P3 or your P4 topic. Different animals have different parts in their respiratory system. Let's talk about us first, okay?